Good morning and welcome to another episode of A Cuppa with Anna, the podcast where I chat to all walks of life about life, particularly in the areas of creativity, well-being and simple living. And today I'm joined by Marsha Miles. Marsha is from Marsha Miles Consultancy Limited and Potential Training and Coaching. And we're going to be talking about one of my favourite subjects today. I love this subject, probably as much as you do, Marsha. We're going to be talking about fear.
Yeah, it's a big subject, and it's something that's obviously really prevalent at the moment. So that's where my interest has come back in, around this topic over the last 12 months. Yeah.
So, Marsha, first of all, tell me what's got you so interested in fear? Where does that come from?
I think in my own life, I think there's been times in my life when I've got stuck. So there's been times where I've been in the wrong relationships, or I've been in the wrong job, or I've had a difficult situation with family. And for me, I have experienced anxiety, and I feel that really it's a really big subject, and it can really put the brakes on your life. So I wanted to find a way of dealing with it, and somebody gave me a book. This was like 15 years ago, and I know people say, oh, it changed my life, but it did actually change my life to a point where I was able to leave my first marriage. I was able to set up my first business. A single mum of a little girl, so it wasn't always easy, but the information in the book, along with other people around me to support me, was amazing. And that's where I've returned to the book after a long time because of what's been going on in the world, and I want to just share it with other people.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing, isn't it, how just sort of going back to sort of books or certain things you've collected in the past, just to give you that a little kind of bit of encouragement or that little hit, because that fear, so it just always seems to want to creep back in, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And I think that's the thing. And probably they always say, don't they, when you're ready to learn, the teacher appears. And I think probably I needed to read that book this year as well again, and that kind of was part of it. But it did enable me to kind of take the next step and become one of the international trainers for the programme, which I had thought about doing before, but the timing wasn't right. So it really gave me the impetus to do that. So I did that this summer.
Yeah. Oh, so Marsha, when you're not learning about fear and helping people with fear, we'll talk more about that in a bit, but tell me a little bit about what you get up to and where you're chatting to us from this morning.
So I'm based in Somerset. I've been here for probably over 10 years now. I've lived across the southwest in different places. I'm actually moving down to Devon in the new year. Yay! So that's going to be exciting. Yeah. So yeah, near to the coast, it'd be lovely. So yeah, in my usual time, I've got also my daughter, she's 11. I've got a lovely little Shih Tzu puppy. We go walking, and my partner and I, one thing that we've really got in common is music. So it's been a challenge not being able to go to any gigs this year, obviously, but we've got a stack full that we've booked for next year. So
really, what have you booked to see?
All loads of stuff. So we're going to see Lightning Seeds. We're going to see James again. I've seen James before, so that'll be good. We're going to see Erasure, and we're going to see Alanis Morissette. So it's like, ooh, just but obviously we'll have to see how the year pans out with the lot, changes.
Yeah. Oh, I used to love Alanis Morissette. I like the One Hand in My Pocket song.
Yeah, her new stuff's brilliant, really in depth, very good lyrics and very meaningful. It's brilliant. Yeah, really.
Oh, I have to check her out. Okay, yeah. So she's got has she got a new album out?
She's been writing ever since that first album, so it's definitely worth picking up.
It's funny how you freeze people in time and forget that they're possibly still writing and still out there. I'll be Spotifying her later. Yeah. So is your puppy going to make an appearance this morning then?
Or maybe she's downstairs at the moment, so you might hear a little bark if the postman comes. But apart from that, she might. Yeah, she tends to sit on my lap quite a bit.
All right, so yeah, going back to this fear stuff. Tell me a little bit about some of the people that you work with and some of the sort of things that you help people get over.
I think since I've started Potential in July, and since then I've been doing some one-to-one coaching around the book actually. So my idea at the time was to be able to feel the fear and do it anyway, run it as a training course. Obviously, it's harder to run training courses like that online because there's a lot to do with the group dynamics, and that it's really nice to be actually with people. So next year I'll be running some actual groups, face to face with people, and have nice lunch and stuff like that. So that will happen. But in the meantime, I've been doing one-to-one coaching online, and it's been fantastic. So I've got a lady I'm working with today, and basically what we do, we work through each of the chapters relates to a different tool. So like today we'll be talking about the chatterbox, which is all about our negative self-talk and how that can really hit away at our self-confidence and can create that feeling of anxiety. So that's today's topic. But each chapter, that's why I like it, has a different element to it. So we'll do self-love another week, we'll do things like making decisions another week. So it's really practical. You can pick it up, work through a workbook with it, and put it down again for next week.
My friend and I, actually, funnily enough, were talking yesterday about the sort of these feelings of not feeling good enough. And I'm imagining that's probably something that comes up a lot. For me personally, I can get a day where I'm feeling really great, and then something can happen, you just think, I'm not good enough, or did that not work out because I'm not good enough in this area, or this and this. And as much as there's sort of voices in your head, and things have a way of working out, they just seem to creep back in. So can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So so go back to the chatterbox, really. I think that's the key thing, really. So we have these two voices. We have they're both our inner voice, but we have a loving, positive voice that, like you say, on those good days we can do anything, we can change the world, really. But on those days where things aren't so good, and I think it is quite common at the moment, when we're stuck indoors, we're looking at ourselves on Zoom, we're looking at social media, it creates this real anxiety around, are we good enough compared to other people? And so what it is firstly is identifying it and not acknowledging that it's there, and then doing some of the tools are around really, as soon as you hear that kind of negative voice, is to kind of unpick it. So challenge it, why am I feeling like that? What is the proof that I'm no good, and start having those arguments. But the other part of it is all around starting the day in a positive way, and starting the day remembering what you're good at, remembering, the things that are positive in your life, and making a list of those things. Not looking at your phone straight away, sitting in the, looking at the garden or whatever, going for a walk, and all those positive things, building those up so that you're much more resilient. And that's another topic that I love, is about resilience and unpicking that a little bit. What is it, and how do we get it, and are we born with it? So I think that's a big part of it as well.
I think it is, isn't it? It's like, what makes us end up feeling like somehow we're inadequate? And I watched a YouTube film called Finding Joe the other day. Have you heard of it?
No, I haven't. I will look that up.
It's really lovely. It was an hour long, and I was sort of feeling a little bit meh, and I watched it, and it was just that reminder, of how sort of things have a way of working out. But if you're always just looking for what, the answers that you're wanting, or looking for them, like you say, they seem to appear, the doors seem to open, and it was just a really lovely reinforcement of that. But I definitely recommend it. It's called Finding Joe.
I'll have a look at that sounds really good.
So is there any sort of specific stories that you could tell us about with some people that you've worked with? Anything specific that they were scared of and have overcome, just in case anyone's listening out there, maybe they relate to it?
So I'm really lucky in my line of work, because my work started within the charitable sector. So when you work with anybody involved with charities or social enterprises, their vision usually is mind-blowing. It's about changing the world, it's about personal passion, and I'm really lucky to be in that place. And one of the ladies I worked with early on is called Viv Gordon, and I worked at Mind, and she is she works in theatrical, she's a theatre maker, arts and mental health campaigner. So we did quite a lot of campaigning stuff together back in the day, and I still follow her. I'm still intrigued about what she's doing. So she's definitely worth looking up. She's her mission really is to remove barriers to participation for people that have had childhood sexual abuse, and to change the narrative around that being a victim, a victimhood, guilt and shame, into something that's about survival and joining others and being powerful. And at the moment she's doing a walk, which we did talk about years ago. She's walking the South Coast Path, and I see her, coming up on screen and talking about how she's getting on stuff, and it's really amazing. She's an incredible lady. She's some of the theatre acts that she's done. She's put together some plays I've been to watch, and it's just incredible. So if you haven't heard of Viv Gordon, it's www.vivgordon.com, and again, she's on Twitter and she's on social media doing this walk at the moment. So if that, any of that resonates with you, then I would look her up. She's amazing.
Oh, I'd love to walk the Southwest Coast Path. I read there's a book called The Salt Path, isn't there? That's about a couple that walked it, and that kind of got me a little bit inspired. So yeah. Oh, do you know whereabouts she is at the moment?
I don't know. I did have a quick look this morning. I haven't had a chance to watch her video yet, but I've got that, bookmarked for this morning. So yeah, but it's I think there's something around the ever-changing, duration of the sea and the movement of the water and ebbing away at the rocks and stuff. I mean, she says it much more eloquently than I do, but that's the parallel, I think. So it's good.
Yeah. Oh, I want to do it now. Okay, Marsha, so let's imagine there's one of our listeners is really wanting to change something, or it's just really struggling to push through a pattern maybe they keep repeating, or we've all done it. What would your advice be to them when that fear, I mean, we know what that feeling is. When that fear kicks in, you can feel paralyzed.
Yes.
It's a really paralyzing feeling, and it might be something so tiny that you're trying to do that doesn't seem very big, but it's so paralyzing. So yeah, what advice would you have for all of us?
I mean, again, there are lots of tools within that book and that work program that are fantastic, but I've just picked one really to share today. And sometimes I think, for me, I'm a real writer. I have to scribble stuff down, and all through my recovery of mental health, writing down how I'm feeling and then being able to look back at that about how I've changed has been incredibly useful. So I always think, get it out of your head. Just whatever you're feeling, get it out. It doesn't, it doesn't need to be there. So this exercise really. So when you're sat and you're feeling powerless and you're thinking about what you're fearful about, get a pad of paper, write down all the things you're fearful about, and just get it all out on paper, and then get 2 different colour pens, and then work through the list and identify 2 things. So fear comes in 2 different sets. So one set are those things that we don't have any control over. Those are the things that happen to us. So it could be, we're really fearful that someone will die, or we're really fearful we'll become ill, or we'll, those things, that's life, that will happen. So underline all of those in one colour. And then there's other things that will pop up that require our action. So they are within us. So it could be, we feel fearful about giving a talk. I feel fearful about coming on and doing a podcast. Not done one before, so it's great. But, you list those things that you actually have to take action on. And even by doing that one simple exercise, you'll be able to start to think, okay, I'm going to need to work really hard around acceptance of the things that I can't control. Those are the things that, that is out of my control. But the things that I can take action on are the things I need to look at. And so that's one of the first things that I would do. And if people are really feeling that, I do really advocate getting the book. I mean, you can get it on Kindle, you can get it on Amazon, and if anybody feeling that, I think that would be a really good step. I've got a 1-hour YouTube clip as well on that I can share with you after, which is all around the introduction into the program as well, if that's useful for your listeners.
Are they able to find that on your website, or where can people find you?
If they go onto YouTube and just put Marsha Miles, no, it's on Potential, so put Potential, and it'll pop up, but I'll send you a link to it if that's useful.
Yeah, I can pop it under the video.
Lovely.
Oh, thank you. I think that's a really nice exercise to do, actually, just to get it all out. I might actually have a go at that. So thank you for that.
And it's great because you're then able to really make a decision about those things you want to take action on. It is about action at the end of the day, and
the amount of things that we fear that we have no control over.
Accept them, give them back to the world.
Yes. All right, I'm going to fire some questions at you now. So the first question is, what has been your favourite moment of the day so far?
Oh, okay. Just thinking, okay, I know. So I've just dropped my daughter off at school, and we park a little way. If I'm running late, I park a little way from the gate so I can walk the dog at the same time. It's all multitasking when you're a woman, isn't it? We walk along, and the dog's going. And we just, for a second, somebody in front of us looked to the right and they pointed. So I thought, well, I'll have a look and see when I get to that point. And they looked to the right, and there was these 2 beautiful big cows, really, really lovely, with the mist behind them, chewing the grass, looking through the gates at us, these lovely long eyelashes. and just we stopped. We just stopped for a second, and we looked at the cat. They looked at us, and they were lovely. Just made me smile, and then we moved on. And but sometimes it's easy to not stop. And that's part of this. The chatterbox thing is being in the moment. And accepting and looking at the beauty of the world.
Mm-hmm. And there is so much of it, isn't it? If you just sort of slow down a little sometimes. Easier said than done though, if you've got lots going on.
Then we ran on to school.
Something that you're really grateful for at the moment?
I think I'm grateful for having an opportunity to slow down through lockdown. I mean, I've been working from home, but it's given me the opportunity to slow down and actually, review what I do for a business. I set up potential so I can work one-to-one with people, and I've pivoted my other company, Marsha Miles consultancy, so that I can do more mental health work. And that's going back to where I was when I started working for charities and things. So I think I'm really pleased that I've had that I've had to stop. A lot of people, I've had to look at where I'm going, and if I hadn't had that, I would just be doing the same thing I was doing before. So it's exciting, but pleased about that.
And then it's the same message again, the importance of space and having time to reflect.
We don't have enough.
Okay, your favorite nature spot?
Oh, that's shifting a little bit actually. So usually, being from Somerset, usually it's the countryside. I love the changing seasons. I've always felt that's been really restorative. But I'm finding little beaches that nobody knows about down in Devon. So I've got a picture on my screen at the moment. I think it's Osmington or Odmington. It's very tiny, and I went there. I found it by mistake, I like those little beaches where nobody really goes, and there's a little coffee shop there as well, so you can just sit and have a cup of coffee, look out to sea. And all the boats are parked up at the moment, aren't they? All the big cruise liners.
They've been there for so long, haven't they?
So that at the moment is probably on the top of my list.
Oh, so all the little hidden beaches to go to then.
Getting there. Getting lost in the process. You'll have to tell me some as well.
What we were saying earlier, I went for fish and chips on the beach the other night, and it was so nice just having the complete beach to yourself in the dark, eating fish and chips. I mean,
where was that?
Dawlish Warren.
Oh yeah, lovely. Nice.
It's been surprisingly warm the last few days as well for November.
It's just being outside. It's getting the daylight, isn't it? I think as well, it's getting enough daylight.
Oh god, yeah, definitely. Okay, what's happening? Oh, your favourite hot drink, the most important question, obviously.
Oh, chai latte.
Oh really? Oh nice, I'm with you on that one.
Nobody really likes it. That's quite lucky actually. My daughter tries it. She's like, "Oh, it's horrible." It's like, that's good, because she won't drink half of it then, will she? So it says a wintry drink, but I like it all year.
Yeah, no, I'm the same as you. Okay, best piece of advice that you've ever been given?
It wasn't directly, but I went to a Hay House conference once, a few years back, and I was really lucky to see Marianne Williamson, who I love anyway. I just love the way she speaks, and she came on stage and she did a bit, and she's a very good speaker. She's amazing, but she said, love conquers fear. She said, we are born with love, but we learn fear. We can readjust our mindset and not be held back. And that, for me, just those, I love things that are simple. So love conquers fear, that mantra, love will conquer fear. Whatever happens, that's how we are born. That is our normal state, to feel love. But there's other things that come into our lives that make us feel fearful. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Nice reminder.
Yeah.
One of your favorite movies and why?
Always has to be The Pursuit of Happiness, because I don't know if you've seen it. Have you seen it?
I love it.
It's quite old.
Do you cry? Yeah, you've got to cry when you get to the happy moment.
Yeah, I do. But it's a real life. It's based on a real life story, and I think the fact that he was with his boy, and one of the scenes where he looks at his boy, and I say it to my daughter now, don't ever tell anybody that you can't do something, not even me. All those sort of lines are amazing in it. So it's great. It's a really good film about resilience and not letting the world, get on top of you. Keep going.
Mm-hmm. And I think what that's making me think of actually is because in the film, isn't it? It's his partner sort of doesn't have the same belief as him, does she? And she sort of drops away. And I think that's another thing that I'm really noticing the older I get is that some people don't want to take that path of getting over their fear, and actually, you know, they drop away. And again, a friend and I were talking about this, and it's quite sad because you find yourself leaving people behind when you sort of, well, not necessarily behind, that's probably not the best way to phrase it, but you lose people. And I think that can be quite a hard part of taking this sort of path.
Yeah, absolutely. And there is a chapter in the book called What Happens When People Don't Want You to Change, because people really struggle with you changing, don't they? And when you start to activate yourself and do stuff and work through this stuff and be powerful, some people just can't cope with it and they will have a reaction. So there's a bit about how you deal with that.
Yeah. Oh, it sounds like a good read. Yeah. Okay. A standout book and why?
Obviously, I'll talk about all morning, but that one probably is my favourite. So, but there is another one that's on my bookshelf here, which I will just grab down. This is more of it has got a slight Christian side to it, but it was one of the reasons I went into the work I did. So Women of Influence. So that's around, and it's partly what I'm looking at now about writing my own book is around, what is it that happens to us in our lives that makes us be able to do something positive with a negative experience. So that's about how to be a woman of influence in a world that's quite tough. How do you keep that? It is like, how do you keep that fire going, through that?
Yeah. And you're part of a book group, aren't you?
I am, the Wellbeing.
Yeah. Tell us a bit about your book group that you're part of.
That's great. We do laugh quite a lot and we are quite rude sometimes, but it's great.
What's life without rudeness and banter, eh?
Yeah, it's a really good. I know it's a really good group. We meet for an hour once a month. We choose a book, and it's got to be wellbeing based. And we have a little vote on it. We go away and we read it, and then we come back and talk it through, and then we choose another one. So the last one we read was How to Dodge Energy Vampires. So we've just finished that. And this next one, which is why we were laughing about it, was How to Change Your Life Before 8 o'clock. So it's like putting loads of stuff in to be motivated. So we're all like that. So that really going to happen, this time of year. But yeah, it's a lovely group, and it does enables me to finish a book, because I can pick up stuff and then be busy and put it down and not finish it. So it makes me finish it, which is really good.
Yeah. No, because I've found I've never been part of a book group, but I've been thinking about joining one, just because you get stuck sometimes reading the same kind of books, and I thought it'd be nice to kind of get different ideas.
That's great. It's only it's only a small group and they're lovely. Yeah.
Okay. What's the next one? Okay, so I'm going to give you a scenario now, and I'd like to tell me what you would do when you feel this way. So you basically begin to feel sort of really anxious, like quite reactive, maybe scared, fearful, not in a very good state.
Yeah.
What's the first thing you do when you feel like that?
So I've learned loads in the last few years just about how to handle anxiety, because I've had to. And one thing that I did learn is that I hold my breath when I'm really anxious and I don't know I'm doing it, and that causes me to feel worse. So the first thing I do is take myself away from the situation, and I think the power of breathing is really important. So I like the box breathing method. So that's something someone taught me really simply, which is just breathe in through your nose for like four count of 4, hold it for a count of 4, and out through your mouth for a count of 4, and keep doing that, and I think the concentration of doing that within a couple of minutes, I feel so much better. I feel so much, on a physical level. So I deal with the physical stuff first, and then sometimes it's just about picking the phone up, speaking to somebody, maybe if it's something that somebody's done to upset me, or something, or if I've had, if it's something I have to deal with, like that list, I will try and do some writing and work out what is it that's making me feel like that. What is the situation? Is it in my control or is it not? And then decide what those steps are to do something. It might be that I don't do anything that day. I just feel rubbish, so I'm just gonna go and watch a film, or go and make a hot drink or whatever. So I don't put too much pressure on myself to change it that day. But yeah, I certainly want to identify what it is that's causing it.
I think that's a really good reminder in there as well about that sort of putting the pressure on, because I know sometimes I can put a lot of pressure on myself to get things right straight away, and actually, like you say, sometimes it's okay just to have a rubbish day and go, actually I can't get over this feeling today, and I'll get over this feeling another day.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about self-love. I think that's the main thing. It's all about
Yeah,
that. It's really important.
it takes time to practice it, doesn't
It does.
it?
We do it for other people, and that's usually the way that people that feel fearful or anxious usually are very giving people and very sensitive and empathic. So we just got to put it on ourselves first.
Yeah. Oh, well, it's been so nice to chat to you.
Thank
And I think
you.
there are so many sort of subjects that we've touched on that we could probably delve into a lot more.
Yeah.
So maybe that's something for the future. I'm thinking it'd be nice to get guests to come back sort of, in 6 months, a year, and have a catch up and see how things are going and stuff. So yeah, no, lots of really useful bits of info. Are you up to anything today other than you got clients and
Yeah, I got client work today, so I've booked tomorrow off to do a bit of Christmas shopping, because again, it was that sort of slight anxiety was creeping in about, feeling a bit overwhelmed. When am I going to get stuff done? Am I going to know? So I've just booked the day off. It's my own business. I can book the day off if I want. So
yes,
I've done
you're your
that.
boss.
Yeah, so I've done that. So today it's just catching up with clients and I'm doing this coaching this afternoon with the lady, which is great. So good day ahead.
Yeah, I know. I can't believe Christmas is going to be in 4 weeks. It's
I know
really strange.
it is.
I really need to start doing my shopping as well. I never shop online, so I'm going to do it all online, obviously, because we're quite limited, aren't we?
Yeah, that's right. I don't really want to be in the shops with lots of people, and then the anxiety that sometimes. I know my triggers, and I know that in normal year that's quite hard. So I'm not going to put myself through it this year.
Yeah, no, I'm the same as you. I like to go out in the quiet times. I always go out on a Monday morning at 9 o'clock.
Perfect. Sounds cool.
Okay, so just give us a reminder one more time of where people can find you, and obviously the book is pretty obvious, so it's Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. Who's the author?
So the author is Susan Jeffers. She's an American writer. She was one of the first sort of self-help writers, but it's 30 years old, the book, actually. So
Wow.
so that can be found on Amazon or Kindle, Audible as well. And then my website, so for work that I do with businesses around health and well-being, is Marsha Miles Consultancy. And then the work I do one-to-one, so personal coaching and the Feel the Fear training and things like that, is potential training and coaching.
Lovely. Well, thank you so much for chatting to me.
That's all right. I've really enjoyed it this morning. I hope you have a lovely day, Anna.
Yeah, you too. Take care, Marsha.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.